All right, we're live. Hey guys, Pacific OG94 here, and today I am doing an interview, which I have not done in God knows how long, with someone I've been trying to do an interview with since, I think, May?
Yep.
May or June. Go ahead and introduce yourself for people that don't know you.
What's doing, guys? Rich Eso here, Mr. Fresh Vinyl Reviews. Bam. If you don't know me, I'm just a big goofball that loves talking toys and Godzilla figures and doing reviews.
Yeah, so his channel will be linked down below in this video, so let's go and get this started. Now, I will ask you 10 questions. Some of them are just generic questions, other of them are a little bit unique questions. I do different unique ones for each person, but start with something generic. What got you into collecting?
Okay, so what got me into collecting? That could be like such an in-depth question, but when I got into Godzilla when I was young, probably 5, and I didn't have I had 2 Imperial Godzilla figures, so I wasn't a collector at a young age. It wasn't until 1994 when Trendmasters put out their figures back in 1994, and I was like, oh my god, what are these? So I had to have them. Went to the KB toy stores, for those that, if you remember, that's where the Trendmasters figures were being sold. So I bought a bunch of them. My own, I was what, 94? I was 11 years old. I started with Trendmasters, and then I got a bunch of them. From the large scale ones that light up the road to the smaller scale, which is more like the 3-inch, like the Yuji Sakai model pieces, about that size scale, or like the what were those box sets from the movies? I can't remember the name of them. Bandai did back with each of the Heisei films and some of the Millennium films. They're about 3-inch Godzilla figures. But what really pushed me into the full-fledged collecting world was when I found my very first Bandai Japan figure, was the Batra Larva, 8-inch Batra Larva with the tag attached, at a comic book store in New Jersey that was going out of business. So I think at the time, I had already seen Godzilla vs. Mothra in '92. So when I saw that Bandai figure, I was like, what is that? Like, I knew it was Batra, but I'm like, what is it? Like, I've never seen such a figure in such detail. Because I was collecting Trendmasters, and, anybody that's had Trendmasters, collects them, or still has them, they were more on the not super detailed size or, scale or whatever. So the Bandai Batra was the one that set everything into motion for me collecting. And when I got that figure, again, I got it for $10, $10 in '94, and I was like, I must have more. And if this is from Japan, then I became like, I'm going for the Japanese stuff, from now on. And from that point on, it was Bandai figures. I went to comic book stores, finding whatever I could. There was a Zap Comics in Freehold, New Jersey that I went to. And I got the Burning Godzilla. Then I got the Destroyer figures. And then I found out about G-Con in New York City in '97, '98. I went there, and I spent one whole summer cutting grass up until August. And I saved about $300, and I bought Bandai figures. I spent all my money on Bandai figures. So that's the long and short version of how I started collecting.
That's quite a story. I mean, like,
I could go longer.
I never grew up with Trendmasters, obviously. I grew up with all the Bandai Creation stuff. I remember I'd go through, like, Kmart's and not Walmart's. It was never in Walmart's. Really, the only place I ever had was Kmart. I had a Toys R Us, but they never sold Godzilla figures. There was only, like, Kmart that would sell Godzilla figures. And the first, like, figure I ever bought was the Bandai Creation, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to work eBay, Amazon, anything like that when I was younger. I mean, I doubt a lot of people do, and if you did, props to you. But it was the Godzilla 2004 by Bandai Creations and the Destroyer, or Destroyer as you said. I'm gonna call it Destroyer though, just because that's what
Destroyer.
Yeah, I got I got those two back in like 2006 or 5, one of those.
Mm.
But a little sad story about the Destroyer. My grandmother was kind of really religious, and this is a funny part with Destroyer as the design of the kaiju. As everyone knows, he kind of looks like the devil.
Yeah.
So my grandmother paid me to throw it out because it looked like the devil.
Paid you to throw it out? That is so not fresh.
I mean, at the time, I'm like, oh, yeah, money. And, of course, I spent on some stuff I don't even remember. But, I mean, now I'm thinking back, I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't even have a Destroyer figure anymore.
You got to save up with the X Plus version.
Yeah, with, I would love to get an X Plus Destroyer. I mean, the X Plus Destroyer looks really nice. I only have the Space Godzilla. But isn't it a 25 centimeter, though?
It is. The X Plus Destroyer is a 25 centimeter scale, and it is big. It's big, but it's in scale, so it works. It works out pretty good. You know, I will elaborate to your talking about what you started collecting with Bandai Creations. If I was collecting Bandai Creations in '94, I would have lost my mind because the Bandai Creation figures are better as far as detail and accuracy goes compared to the Treadmaster figures. So I think the younger collectors that started with Bandai Creations have it pretty good, you know, because those toys most of them look good. I mean, you can't go wrong for the price that you're spending on them, and they're accessible. They're in the stores. You don't have to worry about buying stuff from Japan or getting shipping, or you actually go to the store and you could actually touch it, pick it up, and look at it with your own eyes and hands. So I think if anybody's watched me in the past, you know, I kind of would knock Bandai Creations, but that's not really fair because, you know, and I've always told collectors, you will evolve as you collect, as you get older. Once collectors start working. Oh, what happened? I thought you were Sorry, something happened. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's just I got like a cough, and every time I would cough on my screen, it would swap over to me, then swap back to you, swap over, and it was getting a little annoying. So I just had to present so it just stays on you.
Okay, fine. Now, I was like, oh gosh, did we get cut off? But back to what I was saying. You know, I think the Bandai Creation figures are a good starting point for young collectors, and collectors will evolve as you get older, because you get older, you start working, you start making more money. The more money you make, the more stuff you can buy. You start moving up in scales. Like I didn't start off with X Plus figures and SH Monster Arts. I started off with Treadmasters. Then I moved up to Bandai figures. Then I moved up to whatever comes after that. You know, so Bandai Creations is a good starting point. Even the Bandai figures from Japan, those are great starting point for collectors. So good stuff.
This is a weird thing. I mean, now I go more for like, oh, I want something that looks exactly accurate and all that stuff. But when I started collecting, even though I started with Bandai Creation, I actually wanted more Trendmasters than Bandai Creation because I like the way that they look. They look different. Like, my favorite one to compare is the Trendmasters Space Godzilla to the Bandai Creation Space Godzilla. And, I mean, sure, the one's more movie-accurate colors and stuff, but the Space Godzilla is just, it stands out. It's blue, it's rainbow.
I dig that. You know, I've actually thought about going back to get some, you know, to pick up a couple Treadmaster figures because I sold all of mine at a yard sale when we moved from New Jersey to Florida back in 2000. And I'll never forget my dad saying, are you sure you want to sell these? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm getting the good stuff now, you know. And I was just a dumb teenager at the time, you know, and I was focused on collecting Bandai figures. These are X Plus, but Bandai figures is what my focus was. But I wish I kept some of the Treadmasters because they are cool. They were what I really got my first start into collecting with. So I feel you on the Space Godzilla. I did have the 6-inch one that roared.
That's the one.
And the colors pop on that. You know, it's got an artistic touch to it, you know, even though it's exaggerated blue, but still, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, next question. What is your favorite Godzilla movie?
Okay. This should be an easy one. If anybody's been following me on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. Yeah, my favorite Godzilla movie is without a doubt Mothra versus Godzilla. Everybody knows I love the 64 design. It's my favorite. The story in that film is awesome. The acting is great. You know, everything. I love everything about that movie, from the battle with Mothra, the adult stage Mothra, to then Mothra dying and the larva being born. You know, it's like you feel for these monsters, even though we're kind of rooting for Godzilla because he's such a badass. But Mothra versus Godzilla, my favorite.
Yeah, I figured that because I remember a while ago you would say like, oh yeah, the 64 is my favorite design. Is that just in general, or is that only for Showa favorite design?
My favorite design out of all of the Godzilla designs.
See, my favorite out of all of them is obviously the 94, just because that was the first Godzilla movie that I saw, not the American 98 one. That was my first Japanese Godzilla film I ever saw. And that's also why Space Godzilla is my favorite kaiju, but my favorite Showa is actually the 55. I know a lot of people don't like that for some reason, but I love the 55. Like, I want the X Plus one, and just because, I don't know, it's I mean, I don't want to say it's different, but it just looks interesting, I guess.
It is a different design. You know, he's very more, I would say, cat-like looking. It was definitely a bit of a difference from the 54 version. And if a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people out there know that the Final Wars design took some cues from the 55 design. So
yeah, you could kind of tell that with the fangs and how its neck was.
Yeah, a little bit of resemblance there, but I don't mind the 55 design. I mean, it's not a favorite of mine, but and here's my answer to Godzilla's change. I always say this: Godzilla's a mutation. He mutates, so that's why he looks different all the time.
So, like, I don't understand why people get mad at designs when designs change. I mean, if it looks, design really, in my opinion, doesn't matter. It's just if they portray the character the way it should be.
Think of this: if Godzilla looked the same in every movie, sure, it would work for continuity. But if he looked the same in every movie, it loses its. Look how much variety we have, with Godzilla design. So I think the change works good.
Yeah, probably the biggest one. I'm just looking at your display back there. Your Shin and your 64, those two, just the comparison. That's just shows.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. What types of collectors do you get annoyed with?
Oh, you picked a good one. All right. So this is probably a relevant question with an answer to current times right now with the collecting world.
If it's if it's about the community, that's a later question. So just
okay. All right. So what kind of collectors do I get annoyed with? Geez. I guess I wouldn't really say I get annoyed with collectors. I just don't. That's hard to answer along with a community question.
Well, if you want, we can combine them both.
No, I'll wait. Let me. I don't really get annoyed with collectors, to be honest with you. I always try to help shed light on a certain topic if I'm being asked questions, or if I'm doing a review and people are asking questions. A lot of times somebody will ask me, what should I get? What should that collector get? And I tell them, get what you like, get what you could afford. But I try not to get annoyed. Again, I think I'm going to wrap that question because if anything, we'll go into the community section, but we'll save that.
All right, then. Number 4. What is your least favorite figure you own?
Least favorite? Man, I've never been asked that question before.
This is one of the things that I enjoy whenever I interview someone.
Yeah,
I've seen other people's interviews that are asked the same questions, and I hate it when I ask them and then they just answer it like that. That annoys me a little bit. I like it when people are doing what you do. They get stumped with it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't buy something that we didn't like. I will first off say that, yes, I am very a completionist when it comes to X Plus. So X Plus was going to put it out. I'm going to buy it. So let me. Can I break it down to like sections, like SH Monster Arts, X Plus? All right. So if I had to pick a figure I don't like from X Plus, I would probably pick the 75 Godzilla here, because I mean, it's not that I don't like it. It's just, it doesn't get me excited as much as other ones because, the face is a little bit off, especially in that lip area where a lot of people made a big stink about, because the lip is supposed to curve up, much like, here around the mic. Instead, the top lip curves down, which is wrong. So that one, it kind of takes a hit from me on. What other ones do I not like or have just a lesser?
What other ones do I hate? No.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it. I love all my babies here. Crud. I gotta look. It's very bad when I gotta look. The original 30. It's down here. I'm not gonna pull them up because I got too much crap over here. The original 30 centimeter Godzilla 89 is okay. It's a little bit of taken from one of the, I think, the water suit. So that one doesn't get me excited. And then the Yuji Sakai 89 also, it looks okay, but I don't really like the dynamic pose. It just doesn't flow right for some reason, even though it's accurate to what Yuji Sakai wanted to do.
Is that the one where his arms are kind of like that-ish or something?
Yeah, they're kind of like that, and he's in mid-step, and that was before X Plus decided to throw a tail stand with the figures. So, but I mean, those are minor things, it's not that I don't. It takes away from me enjoying the figure. But yeah, so that's X Plus. SH Monster Arts. I'm actually kind of at a crossroads. I think me and you talked about this a few days ago, but I'm kind of done being a completionist with SH Monster Arts, and I'm probably going to sell a few pieces. So I can easily say the ones that I'm going to sell are probably ones that I don't like that much. The Final Wars guy again, they're probably going to sell the first Godzilla figure that came out in that line. I might sell the Comic-Con Final Meltdown Godzilla.
The Comic-Con's so good.
Yeah, it is, but I'm undecided about that one. I might keep it. I'm probably going to sell my Biollante.
I'm here if you ever want to get rid of that.
And I'm probably not going to be like an idiot and sell it for like $600. But I mean, if somebody wanted to offer me $600 for it, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
But and a few others. So that's the SH Monster stuff. It's just, we could say that for another video or something. Get into that. What else? Bandai figures. Some of the. Let's see. All right. So the one Bandai figure that I don't really like all that much is because I wasn't really a fan of the movie was the Kaiser Ghidorah. The figure just looks like a giant elephant with 3 long heads or something. But I'm really excited for the X Plus one to come out because it looks amazing.
Oh, I forgot that you didn't like Final Wars.
Yeah, I am just. Yeah. We could save that for another discussion, or if you want to add a question on at the end, up to you.
Well, I know a while ago, back when you did a live stream with Chris about that.
Yeah.
Goji Fan 93, yes, he was. And you did a live stream with him on that, so.
Yeah, in that video, just to touch a little bit on Final War. I did a video on my own. I did my own review, and I exaggerated. I was just being silly and just having fun with it. I mean, that movie, it has its pros and cons, but I think the cons outweigh the pros. But anyways, so that's it. There really isn't any other figures that I don't like. That I don't like.
It's funny with the movie thing. Like, I like Final Wars. It isn't in one of my favorites. It's definitely got its problems.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like, it was one of my first movies as well, along with, like, Space Godzilla Destroya and stuff like that. But the main problem that I have with the film is just that it looks like the inside of, like, a Skittle bag or something. It'll go from red to green to blue to yellow.
Yeah.
And
it's all over the place.
What's weird, though, is, like, one movie that I actually don't like out of the Godzilla series, and a lot of people don't like it when I say this, but I actually am not a fan of Godzilla vs. Biollante. I mean, that movie, when I watched it, I mean, seeing Biollante was cool, but it just... Because everyone... When I first watched that, everyone was hyping up Biollante. Everyone's saying, oh, Biollante is the best movie ever. Oh, man, you should see Biollante. Biolante's so good. And then I I did a foolish thing where I had such high expectations, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be the best movie ever," and then when it didn't meet up to expectations, I'm like, "Eh, it was all right."
See, with that film, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But it does have its moments. The acting is kind of, I think, a little over the top in some aspects. But it was the first Heisei film where, actually, it was the first post-show film where we got a new kaiju. So Toho was they were taking a risk, going with a new kaiju. They were, obviously learning new techniques in filming and, making these movies. So it definitely has this creative aspect while introducing a realistic, touch to the story with mixing Godzilla cells and plants, rose stem cells. So I thought it was pretty good.
I mean, I didn't think it was bad.
I'm right there with you, I guess.
I liked it. Badalamenti was cool, and it was nice to see something like that, and that was eventually going to become a trend where they take Godzilla and mix it with other things and make more kaiju.
Yeah.
Sort of a trend with the Heisei era. I mean, not everybody was like that. The only one that really comes to mind is Space Godzilla, but when you think about it, King Ghidorah got rid of Godzilla, got King Ghidorah. Destroya originated kind of from the thing used to kill Godzilla, then you got Destroya, so it kind of was a trend in the Heisei era where they would take something from Godzilla's origin or from Godzilla himself and make it into another kaiju.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why it's regarded as one of the best series. I mean, I love the Heisei series. Not all of it, but I mean, even if you hate it, you have to admit that some movies in there were really good.
Yeah. My two favorite are Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and Destroyer. Those two.
Mechagodzilla is my favorite.
Yeah, I love Mechagodzilla. And it's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. It's not Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. It's wrong.
I know, that's the...
It's a TriStar Sony subtitle for it. And it's
I still
Godzilla
call it that just because, I don't know, I'm used to that. It's kind of weird because whenever I go and... I mean, I don't really flat out say, yeah, my favorite movie is Godzilla and Mechagodzilla 2. Now I say my favorite movie is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 93, just to...
Yeah, just to differentiate.
I mean, it does help distinguish it a bit because, like, if I'm talking about the Showa one, although now I'm talking about, I really don't say this anymore. I used to a lot, but I kind of broke that habit. I would say there's Mechagodzilla, Mechagodzilla 75, and then Mechagodzilla 2. I broke that habit. Now I just say Mechagodzilla 74, I just say the year after it.
Yeah.
Because it's easier.
Yeah, it's nothing to be taken too seriously when it's just ball busting, really.
Yeah, like the Batra Mothra movie. It's just
Godzilla Battle for Earth. They weren't battling for Earth.
I know. I always thought about that. I'm like, what does Earth have to do with anything? I mean, they're not destroying it. You
could look at it as, Batra was created by on Earth, as Mothra was, and that Mothra and Batra could have had this battle that determined the fate of the Earth, but I don't like that stuff. I don't like the Sony title.
Yeah. Sony's done weird things with the Godzilla franchise.
Yeah, and not for nothing, I've watched all of the Heisei films in Japanese with English subtitles. So when finally the movies came out on DVD, was the first time I was able to watch them on with English dubs, and they were horrible. I cannot watch the Heisei films with English dubs. It just sounds horrible.
See, I've seen most of the films in the Heisei era with dub on because, I mean, when I was younger, I didn't have exactly the best attention span. I didn't want to sit there reading through the entire...
Yeah.
But I then thought about it, and I'm like, okay, you know what, let's give Japanese a try. So I popped in Space Godzilla, turned on subs, and I'm laughing about it now because I was just thinking it sounded so much better, for one, and two, they took things out of the movie when it's on English. I didn't know that because I was watching. I'm like, that never happened in the movie. Like, it was weird, but I think that and Mechagodzilla is the only one I've seen in Japanese. Because I mean, the other ones I don't hate the English dubs for some of them. Like King Ghidorah, the 91 one. The 91 one, no. But
I know what you mean.
I like to watch that one in English, even though a lot of people say the English one is garbage with that. It's just preference, I guess. But
you know, it's like. Go ahead.
I cannot stand, like, I've actually yet to this day, this is a little fun fact, I've never seen, okay, I've never seen 2 Godzilla films, and the 2 that I've not seen are Godzilla 1984 and the Japanese dub of 1954. I've never seen those 2.
Okay. You have homework to do.
Yeah, I want to see, like, I saw the English dub for 1954 and I hated it so much.
Yeah. All right, here's what you need to do. You could go on Amazon and order them. I mean, you could pick up the 84 Blu-ray is out. Yeah, it just came out. I mean, that is you have no idea how much of a big deal that release is to the Godzilla community, because the rights for that film have been just so all over the place since it was what New Line. Was it New Line or New World had the rights to the film because they distributed the film here in the United States in 1985, and when they released it on VHS. So the only way to get the film, there was no way to get it unless you found a VHS copy on like eBay or something, or like me, we rented it from a video rental store, you know, back in whenever the early 90s. And what we used to do is we would play it on a VCR and then have another VCR all hooked up, and I made copies of the movies that we rented. So, but I had not seen Godzilla 84 until 2013 when I picked up the Japanese Blu-ray. So that was the first time I watched it in years. But having seen the Japanese version, the story, it's completely directed in a different manner than the American version. But definitely get the Blu-ray, man. It is a fun movie. I do enjoy that movie a lot because it was, again, one of my earlier Godzilla films. And definitely pick up the Godzilla 54. You can get the I don't even, what is it? I forget the name of it. The release that it is. But get the Japanese version. You know, you can get the American release with the Japanese version of Gojira, and watch the film, and you will see how much different the tone of the movie is compared to the Americanized version. And you know, I don't think you'll want to go back and watch the American version, but that's just me.
I haven't even seen it, and I don't want to watch the American one again.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
You could probably get both movies for like under $30. So do it up, man.
Something that I thought was funny about that was when I was watching before I watched the American one, I went and saw all these different things with 1954, and I'm like, oh, that looks so dark and stuff like that, and I'm like, that looks interesting. Then I watch it, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing this part. This is when this happens, and the people are in the hospital. Fades to black, goes back to the guy talking, and he goes like 19, and it's just like, why does it have to do that? I wanted to see what happened, but then it cuts away like that.
Yep.
But, all right, what was I on again? Oh, yeah, number 5, why did you start YouTube?
Okay, good question. I was kind of on a collecting lull where I wasn't collecting anything for a couple of years. So from 2007, when I got out of the military, until 2011. So I went 4 years without collecting anything, and I started out actually with the SH Monster Arts line when that started. And I kind of just stayed consistent with those figures until present time. But it wasn't until 2013 when I got curious about a little line called X Plus.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. And I was actually watching I was curious about X Plus. I think it was around 2011, 2010 when I originally saw, I'll pull them up, this figure, while we were talking about Godzilla 84, I saw this figure floating around Facebook. I'm like, what is it? Where can I get it? And I want to know more about it. So, some minor research. Yeah, some minor research. I found out that, all right, it's this figure from this company called X Plus. And I did some research back, I think it was 2010 or 2011. And I was like, the prices on these figures, I'm like, forget that. I'm not dabbling in that. So my curiosity kind of just, floated around like that about this X Plus line for probably a good year or so. And then the end of 2012, I started watching some reviews on YouTube. I was trying to find out what I could find. And my buddy Sam West was doing X Plus reviews. And I watched a couple of his for about, from November-ish, December. And then finally, January 2013, I asked him, hey, man, I messaged him on Facebook. Hey, dude, I'm a collector in GCG on the Facebook group. I was like, can you tell me about these X Plus figures? And I'll speed it up because it's go long and long. So eventually I got X Plus. I got into X Plus. And, I really like talking toys. I love this line. I love collecting Godzilla figures. I love this hobby. And I wanted to connect with other fans, collectors or not collectors, just other people that have the same passion that I do. So I started thinking about doing videos and everything. And I kept delaying, I had already acquired probably 15 X Plus figures by the time I started my first video. It was April 2013. I was like, you know what? Let me try this. Let me see how this works, and if I could do this whole video thing. I love editing. I love film editing. If I had to change a career profession, I'd go into film editing and maybe make it into the movie industry. But it's a different life now. So my first video was a comparison of the 25 centimeters Mechagodzillas, the Showa Mechagodzillas, 74 and 75. And I felt like I was in a shell. I just didn't feel comfortable because I was behind the camera and all you saw was my hands. And then I did a couple other reviews, and it wasn't until this is the review where I say Fresh Vinyl was born, because it was my first review in front of the camera when I did the review for the 30 centimeter Godzilla 84. And I just kind of broke out of my shell, and that's where Fresh Vinyl was born. I was like, all right, I could do this. Bam! And I just went with it, and I tried to keep in mind that just be myself, have fun with it. If I connect with an audience, then great. If not, whatever. But I guess what I'm doing is working. I hope it's working. So that's how I started.
Yeah, that's just to think of you without X Pluses. You've kind of become like a face for X Plus in a sense when you think about it. Yeah, I mean, you have your face on your mic and on your shirt. So
yeah, a lot of people think that I only collect X Plus, because most of my reviews are all X Plus for the most part, and I'm trying to branch out and do different things, to reach maybe not all right. You said you have what, the X Plus Space Godzilla, right?
Yep.
So and I keep thinking, okay, how can I relate to a wider variety of collectors? So that's why I have SH Monstards. Well, I collect them because I like them, not because to do video reviews, but being the face of X Plus, I don't know. I mean, I love the line.
Get a partnership with them.
Oh. I should. Hey, G, partnership. So the next time I go to G from G Okamoto from X Plus, I'm going to the X Plus HQ in Osaka. Nuts.
You would get so much X Plus from that. Well, actually, I don't know. It depends on what their licensing agreements would be with that, but
yeah. So
it'd be a cool thing to have, though. Actually, if you were a partnership with a line that produces, I know they produce other things too, but mainly Godzilla figures, would you also have to go with Toho for that?
If I got involved? What do you mean?
Yeah. When you think, I was going and making a joke at first saying, if you got a partnership with X Plus, but then I'm thinking, X Plus, as far as I'm aware, has, a deal with Toho since they're making figures off of their line. Wouldn't you have some sense with that, too?
No, well, so here's the thing. Like any toy line, X Plus, SH Monster Arts, NECA, et cetera, they have to get, the rights from Toho to produce these figures. And then Toho has to approve every figure. They have to see it first and say, yes, this is okay. And it's a pretty hefty process. I don't know. No, I don't think many people know this outside of the X Plus community, but when the 25 centimeter Destroyer came out, There was a slight delay. There's a couple of reasons that the Rick Aggregate Destroyer did not ship with Destroyer. It had to ship separately. There was one delay because Toho didn't like the box for the Rick Aggregate Destroyer. This is after X Plus decided it's best just to ship it in its own box separately because it's so fragile. It's made out of resin. And, there's a lot of sharp, horns coming off of that little Rick Extra. But Toho actually held up the release of the Aggregate until X Plus made changes to Toho's liking for the box. So, back to the point of your question, me being a partnership with X Plus would be astronomically amazing. Never will happen because I review their figures. I can't see to any capacity what kind of partnership I would have other than me reviewing their figures. I'm not one to fill my head with helium or pat myself on the back, but I've had, actually me and John Stanowski, both of us, I give credit to him too. When we both started, John Stanowski of KaijuAddicts.com, Flozzy's Gifts, if anybody's familiar with him. We both started, he started his written reviews, I started my video reviews in 2013, and a lot of people that are collecting X Plus tell us, yeah, it's because of you and John, or a combination of both of us, that they got into X Plus. So I always joke, it's like, it'd be nice if, X Plus should pay me a commission because, we're bringing all these people in, but we joke about that, because, and people tell me, yeah, you made X Plus mainstream. I was like, no. I was like, I don't want that title. I'm not that big-headed to think that, I just have fun with this line, and I love talking about it. So yeah, so partnership would be cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, funny thing is, I live in Pennsylvania, and I actually live like an hour away from Flossy's Gifts. So if I wanted to, I don't have to pay ship. I could just drive there. Well, I can't drive there. I'm not old enough yet, but I could get one of my parents to drive me there.
Yeah, man.
But, what was that again? Oh yeah, why did you say? All right. Number 6, this is what I'm actually interested in. What do your friends and family think of you collecting?
Oh, boy. I'm going to start off with, I've had this idea for a video for a long time of having a, what are those? You have a, when you get people together and you don't know about it, what's the word I'm looking for? Intervention. I've had this idea to do an intervention video with my family and friends and my wife. But, I would say a lot of my friends, all right, friends first, when they come here and they walk into this room, they're like, wow, like, this is ridiculous. And then I tell them, like, this is not everything because the rest of it's down on the basement still packed up. So, my friends think it's awesome. One of my buddies, he does RC cars, and, so I was like, I think that's awesome what he does because he builds them from the ground up. So, boys and their toys. A few years ago, my parents thought I had a problem, and some of my in-laws thought I had a problem. I was like, no, it's not a problem. It's a beautiful thing. My wife, when I started X Plus, and I'm not afraid to say this, my first purchase with X Plus figures was a big purchase. I went on eBay like an idiot, and I spent about $3,500 on like 14 X Plus figures. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, geez.
Yeah.
No wonder they said you had a problem.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a problem. As long as I pay my credit card bill, I'm fine. But that was bad. That was very impulsive. But look what it's turned into. So my wife, she's a saint that she puts up with the shit. The stuff.
I don't care.
All right, she puts up with my shit, with this because I tell her like, babe, I'm getting it, or I would. Like, I just say, oh, no, I've had this figure for a while. But, a lot of people think that, I spend all my money on X Plus figures. And, I always say...
I want to have a house, so...
We have a house. We pay our mortgage. We pay our bills. I always tell people, work hard, you play hard. So, again, I'm 33 years old. When you get... As a collector, again, like I said in the beginning, as you progressively get older, You evolve what you're collecting. You evolve with yourself. You know, when you're making money, you're able to afford bigger and better things. You know, not to take anything away from, you know, a $20 NECA figure, which looks really, really awesome. And I love this figure. It's great. So, but a lot of friends and family think it's awesome. Obviously, all my Godzilla friends, you know, some of them probably think I'm nuts, you know, that I spend all this money on these toys. I mean, I bought the standard Shin Godzilla and I got the Rick. Oh, he's behind my back right there. So I'm like, I gotta have two. Yeah, I gotta have both of them, you know, so I'm a nut. But I'd say everybody receives my collecting world pretty good.
Yeah, me being 18 years younger than you in school, obviously it's kind of like, I mean, it's not embarrassing really. I'm not really embarrassed about it at all. Like, my friend comes over to show them, it's like, oh, that's whatever. But they'll, like, friendly joke with me. They'll be like, you collect – well, they don't really care about that. They'll just – if I show my video, they'll just laugh at some things and stuff. I mean, it's, like, a good feeling but also a bad feeling because it's like, that's embarrassing. But it's still good. Thanks.
Here's one thing. Everybody watching this video right now, be it you young, old, whatever, how old you are, boy, girl, don't matter. Never be embarrassed for doing something you enjoy. Never. You know, a lot of people, as a Godzilla fan, you know, we always, you know, I think a lot of people can relate to this. People will make fun of us for liking a guy in a rubber suit, right? You ever feel like that?
Yeah, not really necessarily, though. All
right, you know, I felt like that when I was a kid. You know, I can't tell people like Godzilla because they think it's dorky. You know,
that I have
dubbing. But isn't Batman in a suit? Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, all these other superheroes, they're all in costumes. So just because they're not destroying a city that makes it not cool? No. So never be embarrassed of what we enjoy. Never.
Yeah. All right. What is it? Oh, yeah. How has YouTubing changed you?
How's it changed me?
Yep.
Well,
started to now.
I really I've tried not to let it change me. First and foremost, you know, I know there's some people out there that probably think I have an ego.
I mean, your face is on your shirt. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, but that all happened. You know, I try not to let YouTube consume me. There was a point in 2014 where I was like consumed in doing this, and it was too much. It got the better of me, and you know, I tried to slow down doing the videos. That way, I could enjoy some more family time and deal with other matters and other things. But I've tried not to let YouTube change me, because if it changed me, then I'm not who I am. You know, that's why I always try to be real. I always try to be straightforward with everybody, not BS them. I try not to, but you know, like for instance, if I'm talking about the SH Monster Arts, I don't even know where I put it right now. The SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla, you know, and I say that it's a great figure, or if I said Shin Godzilla was a great movie, I've had.
You can't have an opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've had, you know, oh, you're just being a kiss ass for Toho or something. So I was like, you know what? It's like, am I what's the word I'm looking for? Am I crap, hold on. So am I censoring myself because I'm doing a video on a piece on a product? And I was like, what is my real opinion on it? You know, and I've been wanting to go back to do a second look at the SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla, which is up over there. And you know what? There are flaws with it that I didn't think about when I first got the figure. But, you know, so, and I'm like, did YouTube make me not really see, or like, because I know that I have an audience, was I supposed to talk up the figure because it's the Shin Godzilla SH Monster Arts, or what were my real opinions on it? So, you know, I got to remember that. I always want to try to stay grounded to earth when I'm doing videos. I want to try to be real with everybody. Another thing I don't want to do is, you know, it's just because I'm on YouTube and because, you know, I know a lot of people, or however many subscribers I have, or however many likes or whatever, you know, I don't want to let that get in the way of me expressing myself on how I feel about certain matters. Because there's some people that challenge me that, oh, because I'm Rich Eso or Mr. Fresh Vinyl, that I'm supposed to kiss some people's ass. I'm like, no. Like, I don't care how many subscribers I have. I don't care how many video views I like. I'm going to tell you how I feel because I think that's the best way to go about something is to be honest with people. And, you know, we shouldn't censor ourselves. But that's social media for you today. Everybody hides behind, you know, their phones and their internet warriors. And nobody, like you said, nobody knows how to have an opinion or respect each other's opinion without being critical of each other. And that takes the fun out of it. But we'll get into that in your community question.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, that's one of the things that irritates me with people when they make videos is when they put on a facade about themselves.
yeah.
When I make a video, I don't fake anything. I just act the way I would feel like acting. If I'm sad about something, I'll try to act happy. That's different, though. I don't usually, if I'm sad about something, I really don't make a video. And that's something that, like, if you're YouTubing to the point where YouTubing is affecting your life, that's when you need to stop.
Yep.
Or take a break, or do whatever you need. And if
Goji
the people
Fan
that are
93
there for you will understand. The people that are not will just leave, and you'll know who really is there for you and who really isn't. And that's one of the ways that you tell. Like, you know, I'll say this because I have like 2 more questions, and then the community one where it's probably going to be a long chat thing. All right. Number 8. Do you collect anything else?
Yes. Boom. I collect not heavily like Godzilla, but you know I only recently just started in the past month. I started collecting some Hot Toys figures. You know, I've got Darth Vader. I got hold on, here we go. I got 2 Stormtroopers from the First Order Stormtroopers. So these are really awesome. I got Kylo Ren and Darth Maul.
Do they move, or are they just like that?
No, they're articulated and everything. You know, you could put them in different poses or whatnot. So I started collecting these. I'm only collecting. Excuse me for a moment. I'm only going to collect just a few pieces. I only want the bad guys from the Star Wars line. You know, so I got Kylo Ren, Darth Maul, Darth Vader. I want Emperor Palpatine, 2 Royal Guards, and I need 2 Imperial Stormtroopers to companion with Vader here. Just, you know, that's why I have the 2 First Order Stormtroopers to go with Kylo Ren.
Darth Maul's kind of going to be an outcast, so you need 2 droids then.
That's what I was thinking about. You know, probably 2 destroyer droids. So that's the Star Wars stuff. I do have behind me. I'm not going to move the camera. I do have a 1-on-1 scale Billy puppet doll from the Saw movies sitting on a tricycle.
I was thinking like Billy. What?
Yeah, it was named Billy on the set of those movies. So I've posted pictures on Instagram, and you know he's been in a couple videos with me. So I have that. I collect. What else do I collect? I have a couple Metal Gear Solid figures because I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan on PlayStation video game series. If you know of it, Metal Gear Solid is awesome. I love that.
That's from a PS3.
I probably have some other stuff. It's funny you asked me this because I wanted to do a video, you know, other stuff I collect.
I'm not just X Plus people, I swear.
Yeah, so you know, outside of the Godzilla stuff, I don't really have that much stuff. I do have a 1/6 scale Walter White and Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. They're over here on my shelves out of view right now. I do have some comic books, but I got out of the comic book thing. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Some other stuff, but it's all packed away right now.
I've thought about collecting other stuff. Like when you're mentioning the Hot Toys, right before you said anything about Emperor Palpatine, when you saw Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers, I'm like, that'd be cool if you had Palpatine and the Royal Guards. And then when you mentioned that, I'm like, oh, I kind of want that now.
Yep, I got to get them.
The Dragon Ball Z figure arts line, I kind of want that too, but the problem is I can't collect everything that I want yet because, I mean, money is a thing that I need more of if I want to do that. And as of right now, I can live with that. I'm perfectly happy with what I have. I don't really, like for Monster Arts line, for example, I have pretty much all the figures that I want. I mean, sure, I don't have them all. I don't have a Destroyer. I don't have Biollante. But, I mean, I got the ones that I really like. I got Space Godzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, The mecha units I love. I love the mecha units because as everyone that complains about paint jobs and stuff for their, I guess you could say, organic figures like Godzillas and stuff like that, they never complain about the mechas because they're always pretty much great. Like,
Yep.
I love my my Mogira. Believe it or not, Mogira is probably my favorite Monster Arts figure I have because I just love how they added like the ratchet joints in the arms and stuff.
Yeah. The Kiryus, I always pronounce Kiryu. The Kiryus are really great figures. Those are really nice.
I have the 2002 one, not the 3.
Yeah, the 3 is nice because he looks a little dirty. He's not so polished. So those are cool. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. One question, and then we have the community thing.
Okay.
Do you have any type of goal that you really want to reach?
As to what?
Pertaining to like YouTubing or collecting.
No, not really. I just want to keep having fun with it. Like I mentioned earlier,
That's a goal. You want to have fun with it.
Yeah. I want to keep having fun. I want to keep reaching an audience. I'm trying a couple new things. Like as you know, the collector showcase, the Fresh Vinyl collector showcase. Yeah, I think I wanted to try to do a review today, and then I was gonna try to knock out my next collector showcase, record and respond to the videos that I've gotten so far. I think I have like 6 videos, so I'll try to do 2 per video. So I got like the next 3 episodes ready to rock, to do. Goals. I think I also want to focus my collection a little bit more as far as me personally collecting. That's why I'm going to sell some stuff because I have a lot of stuff still downstairs packed in the basement, Bandai figures. I'm probably going to sell duplicates. Like I don't need 3 of each, 2 of each. Like why do I need a 8-inch Godzilla 2004 and the 6-inch Godzilla 2004? I don't need, because when I finish my basement in the house, I want to have a classy and focused collection room. I don't want it to look like a Japanese toy store, like a freaking hot mess. I don't want it to look like where the point like you can't view it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of just a personal goal. But as far as with YouTube and the whole Fresh Vinyl thing, I want to actually. Here's something that I'm trying to do more with some of the new videos that I'm going to do. I want to give you guys, my viewers, a platform to stand on and be heard, talk with, have fun with. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have any of this. I didn't have, the opportunity to enjoy my hobby with other people. So I want to give back to the community. I want to give you guys a voice. I have some ideas for Fresh Vinyl Live at G-Fest this year that I want to get people involved with, not just sitting in the crowd. I'm going to give people an opportunity to get on stage and come up there with us and be part of the panel. So I want to give back to the community. I want to have fun with it. I want to personalize it a little bit more because, like talking about the whole Fresh Vinyl Collector Showcase, it's one thing when you're sitting on your phone or your computer and you're just making comments on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. It's just words and letters. There's no, a lot of people don't really absorb an emotion from all that, a connection per se. So that's why, like doing something like this, we're sitting here, we're talking with each other, we hear each other, we see each other. The same thing with the Fresh Vinyl Collector Showcase. We're talking with each other. We're hearing each other's thoughts and opinions via our voice, not just words on a screen.
Yeah.
So to sum up that whole area, what I said, my goal is to kind of bring a positive, fun experience to the hobby in whatever capacity I can.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about the typing thing. We rely on technology so much now to the point where I always make this joke. It's like in the future, kids are going to look at a book if they even have those anymore and going to be like, how do I turn this thing on?
Yeah, right.
Where's the cord and all that stuff? Actually, they probably wouldn't even need cords in the future. They're going to have something, but who knows? But I don't like text talking as much. I prefer like doing this because with text talk and stuff like that, you can't really, like you were saying, emotion. Like if someone goes and says a comment and they're like, oh, that was meant as a joke or that was meant to be sarcastic, you can't really tell that. Like because there's no emotion to it. It's just blank words. You can't tell if like, oh, they're just kidding with me, or if they're dead serious trying to like say something. You can't really tell. All right, and the big one. What are your yeah, get ready. All right, what is your thoughts on the community so far?
What do I think about the community,
or just in general?
as of right now?
I have something to say this one too.
So, what are we talking about? The whole Godzilla community, or are we talking about like the collecting world?
Could be anything, really. I guess.
All right. I'll say a couple of things that have been bothering me lately is the constant nitpicking as far as collecting goes. It's the constant nitpicking about everything, and it's very unmotivating. You know, like the SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla. Everybody was all gung ho about it, you know, and then the figure comes out. Oh well, first it wasn't going to be. What? None. I didn't catch that, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I said Steven.
No. Let's not go there. But again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, you know, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But at the same time, there seems to be too many people ripping things apart. They're ripping apart the SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla is the most recent thing. Because the paint job, it's too glossy. Because it doesn't have enough red in it. You know, I've been trying. So I know the figure's not perfect. I put myself in the middle of the road, and I look at this side and I look at that side. I try to understand full circle as to what contributes to getting this figure to me, you know, and what I expected from it. So when people are tearing a figure up, like, get a little education before you say something. Really, I think some people need to educate themselves on how these figures come to be. So, for instance, a prototype. What is a prototype? A prototype is what the manufacturer's idea of what they want to produce. You know, I've been to X Plus HQ. I watched them paint the Rick Yuji Sakai. Oh no, you know, the Yuji Sakai GMK Godzilla figure. Where is he? He's behind me. Whatever. You know, that figure was painted by hand by a worker in the workshop in X Plus HQ. We saw him painting it. That's the figure that they took the pictures of and posted it on the X Plus website. That's the prototype. So when a figure goes into a production, it's not going to look exactly like the prototype. It's going to look pretty damn close to it. But people seem to not realize that these figures are on a production line, coming one after another, and there's people working on them. And all these figures are made in China. And with as many figures that are being cranked out, because Godzilla is very popular again, you know, right now, and since Godzilla 2014 came out, these figures are being cranked out in a small window, a production window in China, in a factory, and they're cranking out tons of them, however many we were picking up. And these production companies, like X Plus or SH Monster Arts, they can't push back their window time. They need to get their figures in, get them made. So these figures being made so fast. The QA, a quality assurance, or, you know, a quality inspector, they don't check every figure. They only check a small percentage of them. And this one looks good, okay, good. Keep going with the production run. Everything's on point. So when people have these issues, it's like, oh, I can't believe they sent me this. I can't believe. Like, think about how the real world works. That's what happens. So, like, for instance, back to SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla. I should bring them down, but we all know what it looks like. People were complaining about there's not enough red. The figure, it's sprayed.
Or if that was too much red, like with the
or too much red, or not enough. It's not well defined. Blah 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 blah. In order to get the figure to look the way we saw it on film, it would have to be painted by hand, and nobody is going to sit there and paint this design by hand. Even the X Plus one, you know, it's not as defined with the red highlights as we saw in the movie. These are all sprayed, you know, or however they're painted. I don't entirely know for sure how they do it, but these are long short production windows with a lot of figures. X Plus had to do 2 pre-order windows for the Rick and the standard Shin Godzilla because it's so popular. So even the you can see it right here, the 92 Godzilla. X Plus collectors are tearing that up because it's got pink in the nostrils and pink in the ears. It was Yuji Sakai's decision, his artistic decision to put pink in the nose and the ears. So some people say, oh, well, you can only see the pink very subtly in the movie in like maybe 1 or 2 scenes. It's like, well, if you're not happy with it, call Yuji Sakai up, tell him you're not happy with it, and see how that goes. You know? So, again, figure was made in a factory in China in a small production window. Think about how many figures. All right, compared to what X Plus was putting out in 2013 to what they're putting out now, the numbers are so much higher, but they also have the same window of production that they had in 2013 that they have now. And they're making way more figures. So it means these figures are going across the production line faster. You know, so again, they're not going to have all the time in the world to sit there and paint the nostrils and nose to our perfect liking just because we saw what the prototype looked like. Again, prototype is a prototype. It will differ to what we get the actual product. It's like, you ever seen a product or something and says, oh, this is just for promotional purposes, actual product may vary?
Yeah.
You know, that's on everything any product, it will vary. And people seem to forget that. Another thing is that I think collectors these days expect perfection. We're so used to getting, you know, in the last 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years, since what SH Monster Arts came out, 2011. Collectors are so used to getting screen accurate figures or, you know, movie accurate, suit accurate. So when something is off, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is horrible. It's garbage. I'm not going to buy it, boycott it. And it's like we didn't make a stink about this back in the 90s when Bandai figures were coming out because the Bandai figures had different paint variations. The Bandai figures weren't suit accurate, you know, and I thought those looked great. And I still think they look great, and I still think they hold up today. So I think collectors need to kind of just calm down, think about, you know, the state of how all these figures are coming to be, on how fortunate we are to have this many kaiju figures still coming out right now. It's awesome. I mean, it's a great time to be collecting, but some people just love tearing everything apart, picking everything apart, complaining about everything, and it takes the fun out of it. You know, and I'm not going to name names or point anybody out because there's a lot of people that are just complaining, and it's really aggravating. And then I get shit because I point out or I stand in the middle of the road and say, well, think about how these figures are being made, or think about, you know, what the difference is between a prototype. You know, somebody called me a white knight in the X Plus group because
I saw that.
Yeah, and it really pissed me off. And then the guy's trying to kiss my ass, telling me that, oh, I love all your reviews and everything. It's like, no, it's like, don't kiss my ass. Tell me that you love my reviews and all this other stuff. I'm sitting here trying to make light of the situation based off of how it works, how these figures come to be. So what I would really love is, like, let somebody ask the same question and to G Okamoto and to Abex Plus. And I bet you the answer is going to be very close to the same one that I gave him. Because G Okamoto, he doesn't go to China to inspect the figures. So what answer is he going to give? I'm sorry it happened. You know, it happens sometimes. Because would they give G Okamoto shit if they answered that question the same way I did? No, of course not. Other collectors in that thread that you saw said the same thing I said, but I got shit for it because I'm Rich Iso, because I'm the White Knight of X Plus. So some people should just shut their mouths and not look like a hypocrite, you know, or just, you know, they just choose to gang up on me because I'm Mr. Fresh Vinyl. And that's fine. I don't care. I can take it. But I'm going to tell you how I feel at the end of the day. So
well, they have to gang up on you to talk about something, then that means then you should feel more like good about yourself because that means they think that you're more of a important figure.
That's where going back to one of your questions before. It's like I don't want to let an ego get to me. Yes, I do have an ego. No. I have an alter ego, as Mr. Fresh Vinyl. Okay, because it's like some people think that I walk around screaming, "Bam! We're going out to McDonald's. Bam! We're going to get pizza. We're going to the mall. Oh, bam! We're going to Lowe's." No, I don't.
Not gonna lie, I kind of thought that you did that sometimes because when we were messaging, you go bam randomly. I'll be like,
yeah,
maybe you have like Tourette's or something.
No, God, I don't have Tourette's. It's an established, form of, like I say bam all the time. I actually do it at work. I do it with my friend. I just text it, or I say bam. But a lot of people ask me, how do I keep my energy levels up? I was like, I just have fun. I'm having fun doing what we do. So, but yeah, but I don't look at myself as an important figure, in this hobby. I'm just a collector like everybody else, but I also choose to look at the realm, the full circle of everything here and try to understand it. Like now I've had my fair share of issues with X Plus figures. I have my 30 centimeter Wonderfest Baragon doesn't light up anymore. My 30 centimeter Mechagodzilla brain doesn't light up anymore. That burnt out. For those that watched that review, it burnt out, homie, in my review. One of the horns on my Bachelor larva tail broke off. I had to reglue that. I think that was mostly my fault. The magnets on my Legion, Mother Legion head, one of those snapped. Amongst other issues I've had. Did I bitch and complain about it? Did I cry about it? Did I curse X Plus? No. It was like, I figure it out, I fix it myself, or I deal with it. Like somebody said, like, oh, you shouldn't have to worry about your Mechagodzilla burning out. Like, but it burnt out. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, it is what it is, and I'm okay with that. I paid for it. Now I also get that as a customer, we are customers. We pay money for these figures. We're paying for what we get. So we shouldn't be dropping a couple $100 on these figures and have these issues. But it happens. It happens, and I'm okay with it happening because nothing is perfect. And I really wish collectors that are pissing and moaning about things just relax a little bit. It happens. Like the SH Monster Arts community, I'm like, it's part of the reason why I'm kind of done with it. Like I left the Super Articulated group just this past few days because everybody is just bitching and complaining in that group. That group has turned into a complete bitch fest about SH Monster Arts. They did the poll that went on in that group about a month ago. Everybody complained. The number one vote was that they're too much money. And because they don't have accessories. Who freaking who? The original Shin Godzilla was $87 before shipping. That is not that much money for that figure. Now, sure, some people say, well, it's not. I don't think it's worth that much. Then call Tamashii and Bandai and tell them that you don't think it's worth that much, and see how that goes. I think it was priced accordingly. Again, I'm not at the factory making the figure. I'm not the one I didn't design it. So who am I to sit here and say that it should be priced this much? I'm not saying that, but I think it was priced fine. Then some people are like, oh, well, I had to pay $200. I'm like, well, you paid $200 from a third-party seller. Not my problem, and not Bandai or Tamashii's Nation's problem either. Oh, well, I couldn't order it because Bluefin's not distributing it. Tough shit. It's like you could have got it from Nippon Yasan and Hobbylink Japan, where I got mine from. There was a couple other places. So just not don't get mad at Bandai and Tamashii. It's not their fault. It's their choice. Their choice on how they distribute their figures. But I just and now here's a funny thing: the new Shin Godzilla that's coming out, the Fourth Awakening or whatever you call it. Collectors are already bitching about that because it's not being released outside Japan. Oh well, it's like find a way to get it. Well, there was another few things people were complaining about already. That a figure that hasn't even come out.
Oh yeah, I
the
know.
price.
The eye. It's
The eye. Now, here's something I actually think that they're doing with these figures is they're making the eye go one direction and the other side another direction to give it a character, to give it a different appearance, a vibe. That's what I think. But if not, and then they messed it up, I guess I'm not allowed to say it's fine. I guess I'm just supposed to bitch and complain about it. Oh, they did bad. But as the Shin Godzilla's like that, actually I don't even know I don't even know why people are complaining about the 54. I think the 54 looks fine.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I mean. The eyes, not all of them. I don't like. I like most of my six monsters, and the eye problems. Now, some figures I would hate to have the eye problems, such as the new Burning Godzilla that came out. If I have one eye looking like all the way up down here and one eye looking like over here, that I can understand get mad about. But Shin Godzilla for one, in the movie, he didn't have the biggest eyes. Two, his eyes, when did you see him looking forward and his eyes looked forward? I mean, his eyes were like googly eyes.
Yeah, there was one scene in the movie, only one scene where you looked at him like head on.
Most of the time, though, it looked kind of derped already. And
yeah, he did, but like I just don't. I don't know.
54 they made so many years ago. For one, for the movie, I'm saying, but like I don't understand complaining about. Like I said, some I can understand. Like for example, Diego Doom's Shin Godzilla. If I got Shin Godzilla and I paid a decent amount and the front teeth look like that, I can understand complaining. But if like that, I can understand.
Yep, me too. I agree.
I'm not trying to go and like act like, oh, I've never said anything. I'm guilty of this because I'm one of the people who've bitched about SH Monsters before.
Everybody's allowed. See, I don't mean to cut you off. I will say everybody's allowed to bitch and complain if they want. I'm not saying nobody should not bitch and complain and voice their opinion, but I think what are we really bitching about? Like we're complaining about this is very glossy. I didn't think about it. Actually, mine doesn't really look that glossy, under certain lighting conditions. But
pictures and in hand are different.
Yeah, it was their decision to paint it like that. Oh, because it doesn't look like the prototype. Again, it's the prototype.
The Shin Godzilla prototype, what they actually did is on the promotional images, they repainted the original prototype. They repainted the prototype twice pretty much because you can see where the mold is on the eye, you can see where the mold is everywhere, and you can see where they painted over another paint job. So that one of the things that a lot of people like to say, and I've said this before, is they on their prototype they kind of knew that their paint job wasn't that good on it, so they repainted it. But the thing on Shin Godzilla is, when did Shin Godzilla ever look like extremely great? Even in the movie, he didn't exactly look like, I'm trying to say, he looked messy in the movie, kind of. Yeah, he didn't exactly look like good, I guess. If that makes, I mean, he looked cool. I'm just saying he didn't look great. Like, he looked like, I don't know the right word to describe it, but I think you got what I'm saying. He didn't look clean, I guess.
Oh, yeah, all mutilated and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he just got burnt pretty much and stuff like that. And for the figures, the price range, one, it's your choice to pay whatever amount you choose. No one's putting a gun to your head saying spend like $700. I doubt anyone pays $700, but spend like $300 on a Godzilla figure that people have listed problems. That's the other thing. It's your choice. People, before you buy it, people have said, this is the figure, this is the good things, this is the bad things. They told you what's wrong with it, what's good with it. It's your choice to buy it. If you buy it and be like, oh, well, I bet I'll get something better, and you get it, and you're like, why is it like this? You were shown before that it's not perfect. And like you're saying, nothing in this world is perfect. And this is one thing I got to say. If everything in this line was perfect, that little $300 wouldn't be $300. That little $300 would probably be $3,000 more if everything looked, well, probably not that.
Yeah.
If everything looked perfect, they would expect you to pay a lot of money for it because you are getting perfection.
Mm-hmm.
But they know that it's not perfect because nothing is perfect. So they charge a decent amount when it first comes out. Came out, I guess. Now, I can understand, as a person who isn't like the best at pre-ordering figures and stuff like that. It does get a little annoying when I don't get a chance to get a figure, and when I want to get it, it costs more than I can even think.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, not more, but yeah. But, I mean, it's kind of like an opportunity thing. Like, I want to get the new Shin Godzilla because I didn't get the first one because I knew that they were going to make another one, because it's like what they did with 2014. When first 2014 came out, people complained, oh, the eyes are wrong, the teeth is crooked and all that. My 2014 has crooked eyes. My 2014 has a red mouth. But this is the thing. He is one of my favorite figures I own. And compared to everyone saying he's the problem, I can understand the problem's kind of started with him, but I still love him. He's a great figure. And I don't see the point in complaining about something that I can't really do anything about. I mean...
Exactly. See, that's the thing, is that everybody's got to find something to complain about. You know, and that goes back to me stating earlier that I think everybody's so used to getting movie-accurate figures. Like this NECA right here, you know, he's a little bit on the artistic side, but for the most part, he's very accurate to what he looked like in the film. Now, I said earlier that if I had Bandai Creations when I was a kid versus Treadmasters, I would have lost my mind. If I had this when I was 11 or 12 years old, I would have like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I cannot believe how super detailed this is. You know, but, you know, and this is a great figure, so I really can't knock anything about this figure. But, you know, like, as I'm sure you've seen, the new NECA Shin Godzilla pictures have just been released. And there's some gripes on that figure that I think are legit. You know, the head looks all wrong on that.
The arms are kind of normal size for a Godzilla, but...
Normal, yeah, and that didn't bother me. I think just the head was the only thing that didn't look right. But really, people are going to probably complain about that because it's it's $28 figure. I was like, then don't buy it. Don't buy anything.
Like, what was I going to say? Something that I thought about, like, I want the new Shin Godzilla, like I was saying, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it because by the time I'll be able to have that money, it'll probably be more than that. But there was another point that I wanted to make out before, like you start. I don't remember it. I got. Okay. Well, something along, like I said, the paint problems. I said, oh yeah, I remember what it is now. When people complain about stuff, it can get really annoying. And again, like I said, it's their choice to buy it. But there is sometimes credit to when people complain, because if you think about it, if no one complained about any figures and they were producing basically crap, they think, oh, it's great. Nobody complains about it. We'll just keep doing it. But over excessive complaining is not really a good thing. But when you're saying, when I was a kid, if I had this, I would have freaked out and stuff, that's kind of what today's kids, I guess you could say, are going into. They're growing up with, like, NECAs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they expect figures to be that good. And that standard of what people expect will go so good that they want basically what they got in the movie in their house, pretty much, compared to...
The expectation's higher because of the quality of figures that we have. And here's another thing. And I'm not being bitter about the fact that I think collectors now, young collectors, have it really good. I'm not going to say easy because I think it's really good. It's accessibility. You know, again, I didn't have an option to get stuff off of eBay, online shopping when I started collecting. But I lost my train of thought. I lost where I was going with that. I just think, you know, again, yeah. So with the way how easy it is to get stuff now, and what young collectors are able to get at NECA, SH Monster Arts, and X Plus even now, you know, it's really great that all this stuff is accessible. But I'm going to steal a word that Chris said on his video when he, you know, on his farewell video. He said it's toxic, the community. It's becoming a little toxic. And it's very unmotivating as a creator, you know, to sit here and do a review and, you know, and if you're not having fun with it or being motivated to do it. So, and I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to stay away from the negative stuff. But it's hard. You know, it's really, at the end of the day, we're talking about toys, people. You know, I'm just trying to have fun with it. I get not everything is perfect. We can have an opinion. We can bitch and complain about it, but I think we need to think about the full spectrum of things. But who am I to say that? Everybody's entitled to say what they want, feel what they want. I'm not anybody special to take that away from anyone either. But I'm just a little bit. I'm a little bit more. I can't think of the word. Appeasing to accepting mistakes, because I get it. It happens, But and then the other thing with the community, not so much the collecting. It seems like everybody's got a personal agenda out there. Between friends or different groups or different conventions or whatever. It's like, people, can we just have fun with it? Because when it's not fun, why do it anymore? And that's how I felt in December. I was like, I almost felt like I was going to pull the plug and just be done with the whole YouTube thing. And I was like, no, I love doing it. I enjoy doing it. And then being an admin on 2 Facebook groups has its issues. That's a chore.
You're an admin?
I'm admin on GCG, Godzilla Collectors Group, and the X Plus Group.
I know X Plus. I didn't know the other one.
Yeah, so I have fun, and I'm sure if anybody watching this is, like, who the hell does Rich think he is to say people are bitching and blah blah blah? That's fine. It's just, let's talk about it. Let's discuss it instead of just, like I said, I left the Super Articulated group. It's just I just can't be in there no more because it's just constant complaining. And I've almost thought about leaving the X Plus group because of it's either people are selling too much, there's too much selling going on, or people are bitching about something.
I mean, the selling part, I don't think that's terrible, though, because
it's not.
Creates availability.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's like one thing, like, some people would ask me is like, I can't believe you're knocking people for selling. I'm like, wrong. Not necessarily. I mean, yes, it does suck to see somebody sell something that they just got. You just got it a month. Like how are you selling it? But what bothers me more, it's like, it sucks to see somebody have to sell something because, I love it. Like, it like almost breaks my heart to see somebody have to let their collection go. It's sad because I hope I never have to do that. You know,
one guy I saw, he was selling, this was not in the X Plus group, it was in the Super Articulated group. He was selling a bunch of SH Monster Arts. And I got a Kiryu from him for $95, the 2002 one. And I got that last year, so considering the time difference, I thought it was a really good deal. And this is the funny problem. On the Kiryu, the little horns that he has right there, little tiny tips, like the little tiny points, aren't there. They were broken off. But when I got it, you couldn't even tell. Unless you literally sat there and put a picture of another Kiryu, you can't tell. And that's one of my favorite figures. Do I go and complain and saying, oh my gosh, he doesn't have his horns, I'm going to distract? No. Because I'm just happy I have it.
Yeah, you can fix it if you found the piece. Great, I mean, actually, I broke the horn on the top of my Kiryu head. I broke it. I dropped the freaking figure, and it cracked. So I'm like, okay, well, I could just change out the eyes, with the orange ones, and I re-glued the horn. I mean, it's not really the best glue job because it's so small, but hey, that was my fault. That nobody's fault but mine, so I blame myself only.
Yeah, and what was it called? Basically, he was selling a lot of his collection because he had to pay for medical bills and stuff like that. And I mean, when you think about it, some people this is one thing I get annoyed about, and I don't get annoyed about this with just like older collectors, kind of younger collectors, like even collectors my age or younger. I get annoyed when they kind of think collecting is everything. And I mean, I'm not trying to say like, oh, you're not allowed to like something that much, but when they get to the point where if someone's selling something to pay for medical bills and people are commenting saying, oh, you're disgraceful, why would you do that? And so like, that's just sad. I mean, if I could give up, I mean, it's not as bad for me because I don't have as much, but I would give up collecting like that if my life or someone else's life was on the line or something like that.
Absolutely. I would never knock somebody for having to sell something to be an adult, for a reason, or any reason. I really never knocked anybody for selling. I mean, from a collecting aspect in an X Plus group, when you see post after post after post after post after post after post of figure for sale. I'm like, so it feels like, you know, that it's just a selling page now, you know, and yeah, that's kind of a little annoying.
Let's get rid of the selling function.
Well, we changed in the X Plus group back in July. Like, if you went to go make a post, it was automatically a for sale post, and I changed that. I was like, I don't like that. You know, I don't think it like every time I click something, I'm not selling something. That just made it more open. It felt like this is more of just a buy sell trade group, and I'm like, that was never the focus of the group, is for selling. But again, it happens. When I joined the X Plus group, I was like the 50th person in the group in 2013. You know, now look at us, we're over like 2,000, 2,500 people, whatever it is. So, and I get that is expected. That's normal with any hobby. You know, the more people that get involved, the bigger it gets, the more stuff is going to go for sale, and that's fine. You know, so me and a couple other guys that I know that were in that group back then, you know, there was no such thing as selling figures. Nobody sold, you know. It turned, it was like if something was for sale, it was gone instantly. But now, because X Plus is so big, people are having trouble selling even a 25 centimeter figure for $120. It's ridiculous. You know, it's great because it's a buyer's market. And I will always say, first and foremost, if you're going to buy something or sell it, you know, the X Plus group is a great place to do it, because you know you're going to buy something from another collector, and you're going to get a great price for it. Yeah, you're going to get a great price for it. Whereas back in 2013, 2014, you know, getting a figure, you know, it was gone so fast, and it went for a lot of money. So the good thing of many about X Plus being so big and popular and people selling is that it's easy to get pretty much any of the 30 centimeter diamond reissues, or even some of the Japanese Rick issues only. So again, those are all great things, you know, and very commendable, because I'd rather collectors get a good deal for their figures than having to spend 3 times as much because some scalper on eBay wants to sell a freaking figure for $1,000. That's ridiculous, you know. So there's a lot more good things about the selling, you know, and I know I may sound negative about it, but I'm not really all that negative about it. It's just, again, it's more heartbreaking to see somebody have to sell something, because I love these figures and I would hate to have to sell one of them, you know, by force. So
yeah, and branching off from the collecting community, more going into the like community, like on the internet, or like the kaiju community itself. One thing that, like, I don't mean to like downgrade other people or anything. I'm not gonna say names, but there are people out there who have joined the community and don't understand its kind of purpose. Or, I mean, they can have whatever purpose they want. I'm just saying they just don't really do what you think people in a friendly community would do. Like, for example, they'll go make rants on certain people. They'll go and comment, like, if someone says their opinion, like, oh, my favorite kaiju is, like, I guess, Ebra or whatever. If someone goes and says, like, my favorite kaiju is Ebra, they'll be like, what's wrong with you? Why do you like that? He's weak, and all that stuff. It's just, it's an opinion. People are allowed to have opinion. I made a video about this a while ago, and since it was a while ago, it got, like, no views, and I might make another one, but saying the state of community, I mean, people don't know how to respect other people's opinions, because if that opinion is not their own, then it's not right. And I don't understand that mindset, because if I can say this now, I know a lot of other kaiju fans disagree, and I know you disagree. I like Zilla. Zilla to me is a cool kaiju. But if people go around comment on me saying like, oh, what are you thinking, or something like that, do I care? Do I go and comment back to them, well, you're wrong and stuff? No, because they're allowed to have their opinion.
Yes, I agree.
There's no point in just yelling at them or saying, oh, you're or not even yelling, just typing angrily that you're not, like, you know, just sitting down there just going like that, or just going like this pretty much the entire time, saying you're wrong and stuff, because we are able to have our own opinions. We're not in control of other people. People can think whatever they want. And as for just the types of things people do, It all just comes down to acknowledging other people's opinions and respecting it. And I feel just like nobody knows how to respect what someone says anymore, because if it's, like I said, if it's not them, it's wrong.
Yep. Here's where I think everything could change. So we're sitting here on our phones, on our computers. We're not in person. We're not face to face. What consequences are there for saying whatever we want?
You're
None.
invincible.
People are safe behind their little screens. So I'd love to see, how a lot of the conversations, be it on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, would play out in person, face to face. Because a lot of people just run their mouths behind these and don't worry about what anybody else is going to say because they're safe behind their phone. So, let's have a conversation in person at G-Fest. Let's talk about Zilla. Let's talk about Final Wars. Let's throw our opinions back and forth. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It's just an opinion. Let's just have fun with it. I don't like Gino. I call him Gino. And I have my opinions on that movie. I mean, I saw it when I was 15 in the movie theater. I walked out and I was like, right out. I was like, it wasn't Godzilla. But that's okay. That's my opinion, and I think it was one of those other big Godzilla groups, Toku Legion or something like that, and they were going on about Zilla. There was multiple posts about it, and some kid just loved ripping anybody that opposed his opinion. And it's like who is this person to say anything? It's like, I don't know. It's just
I've had people that, like, in a video I made what was it again? I made a video talking about it wasn't me talking, it was just some little fun video it was like Evolution of Godzilla type thing. It was going from 54 to 2016, and I added Zilla in it, but I titled it Zilla 1998 or /Godzilla. And the things that people are saying, some people are going commenting like Zilla is the best Godzilla incarnation ever and stuff. And I'm sitting there like, he's not Godzilla. I did include him because technically he bears the name, or did bear the name, but technically he isn't now. It's all retconning stuff. But Final Wars retconned everything. But I'm not going to sit there and argue with him about how, oh, well, he's not, and you're wrong. I'm not going to sit there and do that, because if he wants to, I mean, I could tell him that, but it's not going to change what he thinks. I can't make somebody change the way they think to my views. I can't do that. And I don't mean to make myself sound like big-headed or anything like that, but I feel like if more people had a mindset similar to mine, where you respect someone's opinion, and if you have a problem, don't just, or if you guys disagree on something, don't go and start like frantically going like that on your keyboard and stuff, trying to get back at them or anything, and don't go and start hating on them. If you guys just have a problem, just settle like mature people. Don't start. Just talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about it. And that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people these days, we're so reliant on our social media, on our cell phones, that we're losing touch on how to communicate with each other. Again, this is like, we're doing this right here. That's why I started the Fresh Final Collector Showcase. It's and a couple people said, I don't know if I'm comfortable in front of the camera, blah, blah, blah. I was like, just try it. You don't have to be in front of the camera. You could be behind it, whatever. I want to personalize things a little bit more rather than it just being letters, because there is, again, no emotion and all of that.
You're just reading it off. It's like,
yeah, I don't know. I just think as a whole, for the community, as with any hobby, be it movies, be it Dragon Ball Z, video games, everybody just needs to just kind of like relax. Just have fun. Let's argue. Let's disagree to agree. Throw ideas back and forth. Don't shit on each other because they like this or they like that. And if I'm probably guilty of doing that too. And I'm trying to what is the point? Let's be constructive with a topic. And that's another thing is, A lot of people can't handle A, honesty, or B, constructive criticism. So I don't know, that's my 2 cents. I could beat this like a dead horse, but I just think everybody needs to relax, have fun, don't lose sight of what we're all in this together. We're all here because we love Godzilla. So I think you just need to have fun with it and don't lose sight of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, constructive criticism, that actually made me think back, because I remember a while ago I would make tribute videos, and I still enjoy those tribute videos because, I mean, it's songs I like. But I remember before I even started doing that, I made a tribute video on something completely unrelated to Godzilla or anything, and I showed my sister it, and she basically said it's okay, but has problems. She gave me constructive criticism. I didn't know how to handle that because I was so used to people saying, "Oh, that's great. Oh, good job," or stuff like that. And when someone tells me or told me that I was like, "Oh, that's not good," I would get, instead of saying, "All right, why don't you tell me or help me out or something, or I think of a way to change this or something so that it can be not only good for you but good for me." Instead of doing that, I just got mad. And that's the thing that a lot of people do. It's if I had to describe just 2 words to say, or 3 words technically, just okay.
Sorry.
3 words. No, it's fine. Just 3 words basically. Be respect, maturity, and honesty. Those 3 words. If the people have respect, maturity, and honesty, we could get a lot farther than the way things are heading.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's basically you can't say anything more about it. It's like beating a dead horse. I mean, just people need to learn those 3 things, in my opinion, and then we can move further as a group.
Yep. So, yeah. I just want to keep having fun and being positive. That's all.
Yeah, that's what anyone should do. So I'm gonna end this little interview type thing, even though it's funny. I haven't had a talk. I'm not gonna start. I'll tell you this off air, but anyway, thank you guys all for watching. If you enjoy this video, just tell me you enjoyed, or you don't have to do that.
I enjoyed this video.
Thanks. Go check out Rich Iso and Mr. Fresh Vinyl. Link in the description below. Wait, we're not supposed to. You said you don't want people crediting you. Never mind. Don't go to his channel. He's terrible. No,
you can credit me. I don't care.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you next time. We go to stop broadcast. Bye-bye.